Hey everyone, this is Verdilit here, and I am the coach of the Capra Litwix, and I'm here to introduce you to my team and the draft that I got. But before we start about the team and whatnot, first I'm gonna explain what is the LBA real quick. I'm trying to make this video short. The LBA is draft-based league, which meaning that if I draft a certain Pokemon, I am the only one with this Pokemon in my division, and no one else can take it. And since I was the champion of last season, I do get the first draft, luckily for me, so I can get my one and only and favorite Garchomp, which will go into my draft just about now. So as you can see on the screen, this is the team that I drafted. We draft 10 Pokemon under the rules that you can only draft 2 legendaries and 1 Mega Evolutions and use 1 legendary per battle. So I decided to remove all these restrictions by drafting my Mega and Legendary to be the only one, since you can't use 2 Legendaries and whatnot. So I decided just to make it 1. And just to go through my drafts one by one, I'm not gonna just skip to the middle. My first draft was Garchomp. I think Garchomp is a great Pokemon, and in general, I wouldn't think it's worthy of a first draft right off the bat, because I could have taken stuff like Landorus T, which is the most threatening Pokemon in the entire Earth, in my opinion. But I decided to go with Garchomp because it's my favorite Pokemon, and I would be really happy if I could take it to the championship. And secondly, we do have Arcanine. Arcanine in general, it's a UU Pokemon, not an OU. So some people would question why would I draft it first. First of all, I really don't care about tiers, but they do sometimes matter, or actually define a Pokemon. But Arcanine is a really good Pokemon that can go with different sets. I mean, its move pool is amazing. It can be both offensive and defensive, and they're both equally valuable, so you're not losing anything by being taking Arcanine. Like, depending on the team, if my opponent has a Scizor, I am gonna run a defensive Arcanine, and Scizor really can't bypass that no matter what. And for my third draft, I decided to take Mega Latios. Mega Latios I've never tried. Actually, I tried it once, and it's not a really good Pokemon because Life Orb Latios can do more damage than even though this one has 160 special attack, but Life Orb actually does more damage. But I thought, since it has very big and different stats, like it has 130 attack, it has 100 defense, it has 120 special defense, I could really bend it like to the situation, which is the most important thing in the LBA, because in the LBA you just know your opponent, you know their team, you know what they're bringing, or at least like you have 10 Pokemon and know which one is the most threatening, and Mega Latios is just so perfect for that. So I decided to draft it, which was a good idea. And then I drafted back-to-back Skarmory and Klefki. Now, just as a reminder, I don't actually draft them all together. I just get the first draft. First I draft Garchomp, and then they go to the second team, the second team drafts, and then so on, and then it takes a U-turn and goes back to me, and I get double draft. This is why I took Arcanine and Mega Latios back to back, and then it took a Snake, and then back to me, and I took Skarmory and Klefki. The reason I took Skarmory and Klefki is because they're both steel. You'd be like, oh, why are you drafting 2 steel types? Well, first of all, they don't have a common weakness except for fire. Skarmory resists ground, or immune to ground. Klefki resists fighting. Actually, they both resist fighting. So basically, they don't have a common weakness except for fire. And as you can see from my first 3 drafts, they eat fire up. They're all resistant to fire. And up to this point, all my drafts are okay in the special defensive side, except for Skarmory. They all can take special hits, but I don't really have a solid special wall, so I decided to draft into Cruel, and being a water type just helps me takes Ice Beam, which is kind of a threat on my first 2, and having a poison type and a Pokemon that can spin is just awesome, even though I already have 2 Defoggers, but just this addition is awesome. And then I decided to draft Mienshao just for the sole reason, or the sole purpose, that I don't really have like a super wall breaker. Like if something comes to me like super bulky Pokemon like whatever, Rhyperior or something, I really don't have anything to break it. Oh, Rhyperior actually very weak, especially defensive, but you get the idea. I just needed the reckless high jump kick, and Mienshao was the perfect option. It was still not drafted by that round, which was kind of baffling, seeing how we have 16 teams, and Mienshao is a really good Pokemon. So I decided to draft it, and then I drafted back-to-back Gigalith and and what do we call it? The Crawdaunt. Gigalith and Crawdaunt, two amazing Pokemon. Both of them actually. Actually, Gigalith is, even though it's threatening and it's an amazing Pokemon, I don't think it's as good as Crawdaunt. Crawdaunt is scary. Adaptability, crunch, knockoff. I just needed a good knockoff user, and Crawdaunt was there laying around. No one chose Crawdaunt, so I decided to take it, and I'm so excited to use this thing. I've never used it up to this point. I've only used Garchomp and Arcanine before. I've used Mega Latios and Showdown, but I've never actually used it, so all of these Pokemon are new to me, new experiences, which is I'm excited to try. I'm really trying to hold off on my strategies or on any idea that I want to try, because I don't want my opponent to be ready for what I want to plan. But I'm really excited to use them, especially the Klefki. And then we go with the last draft, which is the Scolipede. I really didn't want to draft Scolipede, even though it's so good, but at first I was like, I wanted Rotom-Mow in general. I wanted something that uses Volt Switch and something that is a special attacker. As you can see, I don't have a lot of special attackers on my team. So I wanted a special attacking Klefki. I mean, a special attacking Pokemon, and Rotom-Mow was just the perfect Pokemon for it, like Leaf Storm, Volt Switch. And even Will-O-Wisp. I don't have a Will-O-Wisper on my team, so I was excited to draft it, but then it was gone. And then I was like, alright, then I'm gonna draft Tangrowth, and then Tangrowth was gone as well. So I was like, you know what, my team really appreciates a Baton Pass, so Scolipede would be a really good option. And the speed boost is indefatigability even for an offensive Pokemon, so this includes my drafts, and yeah, hopefully you guys are excited for the battles, but we're not done yet, because I am going to talk about the most threatening team, in my opinion, in my division. Now, every single team in this division, in my division, we have two divisions, the Aqua division and the Magma division. Every team in the Magma division drafted really, really well, to the point where no one has all the threats. Like last season, we had a team with two teams actually with two ridiculous threats. But in my opinion, the most threatening team is just a second. Yes, the most threatening team, in my opinion, is the Portland Timbers. And Portland Timbers, if you don't know, is the Season 1 champion. And as you can see on the screen, his drafts right now, he has scary drafts. First of all, the Talonflame. Talonflame is just... It's just Talonflame, you know Talonflame. And in the LBA, it's one of those Pokemon that grow even stronger. Like, for example, Ferrothorn, even though it's so good in like random Wi-Fi battles, it drops in usefulness in the LBA, because everyone knows you have Ferrothorn and everyone will bring HP Fire on anything and just wreck Ferrothorn. But Talonflame just keeps getting better even in the LBA. It has Natural Gift, which, if you don't know, if you give it a certain berry, and use Natural Gift, it's gonna use a base 100 move, a base power 100 move, and according to the berry, the type will change. So for example, one of the berries, I don't recall the name, when you use it, it's gonna use like a base 100 physical grass move, which is incredibly scary, meaning that if you think that Rhydon or Rhyperior is the answer to Talonflame, when it Sword Dances, it will just go for that. It can still run Will-O-Wisp, bulky bulk up. I've even seen specially defensive that could take a Draco and then roost. It's ridiculous. And then we have Mega Mawile. If you don't know, we have our own rules. Like, the base of our rules is our Smogon rules, but then we make our own votes. So we voted that Mawile isn't worthy of being banned. Actually, I voted that it should be banned. Personally, I don't think Mega Mawile is overpowered. It's a really good Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but it's not overpowered. But I voted for it not to be banned because, to be banned just because I like to keep it like the Smogon rules. I don't want to take any hassles and face something, but the majority voted against the ban, and it was legal, so it's okay, since it's not a broken Pokemon like Mega Kangaskhan and Mega Salamence. And then we have Latios. Latios is just a threat, like I said, Life Orb, Dracos, that's insane. And then Cloyster. Cloyster could just take the game, even if it's 6-1 for me, he can just Shell Smash. And the scary thing about this team, and then of course we have Mandibuzz, one of the most annoying physical walls, or walls in general, it can take special and physical. But the scariest thing about this team is that it's carried by Tyler. And Tyler is, just like I said, Season 1 champion. So basically, if you give Talonflame to like a new player, he's just gonna make a Choice Bandit and Brave Bird all the things, which is still good, but Tyler just EV trains specifically and exactly, and that's hella scary. I personally don't see the lower drafts as scary as the upper draft. I mean, Rhydon is a threat, Electros is a threat, but to me, Lucario was always like an empty spot, just like drafting an Electivire. I really don't agree with that draft. But then again, a lot of people do really well with Lucario. At one time, I underestimated Lucario and decided to set up on its face, only to get popped by a Life Orb close combat, so that was kind of scary. So yeah, this will include all the drafts. I hope that wasn't boring. I tried to make it as short as possible, but holy hell, we're at 11 minutes, I guess, so sorry for that. So yeah, see you later, guys.